popping jelly beans! I've got to get moving! There are too many errands to run before the party tomorrow! Oh, Pete! Hello, Pete! How are you, my dear son? Greetings, Mrs. Snickerbrook! Have a good day!
Shalom Aleichem, Pete!
Aleichem shalom, Mr. Noodleman! It's good to see you! Hi, Pete. It's great to see you. Hiya, Miss Susapot! You're looking lovely today! Incredible! Excuse me, please. I'll have a dozen chocolate swirl donuts to go.
Okay.
Oh, it looks just delectable. Give me that strawberry tart right away.
Okay.
Will you give me 3 loaves of rye bread and 6 bagels to go, please, and speed it up, will you?
Okay.
Excuse me, Miss Dahlia. Where's my birthday cake? I'm here to pick it up.
Mercy!
No!
Friends, whatever just happened? This is no way to bring in Valentine's Day, right? Clearly, something has gone wrong with Pete's planning of the Purple Valentine Bash. But what? Seems the party is in trouble. Or is it? Well, being that I'm Daisy and I did write the story, I'm going to let you in on a little clue. Pete has some pretty special friends, and they're all about love, kindness, and loyalty. Without them, this Valentine's Day story might have a very different ending. But you'll have to keep your ears peeled to the end when we learn about Pete's next action. Okay, Valentine, let's find out what's happening with Pete. It was the day before Valentine's Day, and Pete was excited. He had already made lots of preparations for the party. Aesthetics, ambiance, Pete had it all. Woo! This gathering was going to be fire, and he had all the extras to make it a party that his friends would love. He had tons of goodies for an exciting Valentine's Day card decorating event: glitter, felt tip markers, stickers, name tags, rock candy crystals, jelly beans, and candy hearts. And with confetti poppers, the party would be, well, popping, with colorful bits floating about while friends bopped out to Pete's favorite tunes. After Pete's big New Year's Eve shindig, he had quickly become known as the CEO of Hoppin' Soirees. But for this Valentine's Day party, only a handful of Pete's closest friends were invited. Just down the block was Pete's favorite house of sweets, Fluffy Muffy Bakery, where he had ordered a big purple Valentine cake just for the party. There was no need for oxygen in the bakery since it was filled with the aroma of mouth-watering chocolates, pastries, cookies, and tarts. Everyone knew Pete at the bakery, including many of the patrons. Dahlia Donut, the chief attendant, loved Pete and greeted him with a huge welcome.
Hi, Pete! Happy Valentine's Day! How's the party planning coming along? Everything's ready! I'm here to pick up my cake! You're coming, right, Dahlia? Pete, I would miss it for the world!
Dahlia claimed as the two friends laughed. Dahlia, in fact, was a serious cakeaholic and could describe in detail what every single sweet morsel tasted like there at Fluff Muff, as the locals called it. Suddenly, Pete noticed his friend, Fanny Pudge, whom he had met there at the bakery some time ago. Whenever Fanny was in town from Washington, D.C., she always went to Fluff Muff. Pete was happy to see Fanny since she would also be coming to the party.
Hi, Fanny! What's cooking?
Pete, hi! How are you? I'm doing great. Just here to get some of my favorite chocolate chip cookies to take to the party tomorrow.
Fanny always got super excited when it came to chocolate chip cookies. But Pete noticed that Fanny had a lot more than just cookies on her tray. Well, no one could resist the yummy delicacies that the Fluff Muff pastry chefs churned out with love.
I'm so happy you're coming to the party, Fanny.
Oh, you're too kind, Pete. I can't wait.
Hey, if you're not doing anything, maybe you'd like to come over and help set up the rest of the decorations together. It'll be fun.
What a great idea. I'd love to, Pete. Just then, Dahlia approached the two friends carrying a beautiful, velvety, purple, ginormous Valentine's Day cake, bursting with glittery grape frosting. The crowded bakery grew quiet as all eyes fixated on Pete's Valentine cake.
Wow, it looks amazing.
That cake is fit for a party.
Hey, can I have a slice? I want to try.
Cried several customers. Dahlia giggled as her entire plump person jiggled with the giggle. Pete spotted the Fluff Muff pastry chefs in the back, glowing with pride. They looked at each other and whispered something, then looked back at Pete.
Everyone, this amazing cake is for my Valentine's Day party.
Pete announced to everyone in the bakery.
Wow, thank you, Dahlia. The cake is absolutely perfect. And I can't wait to see you at the party. You are most welcome, my dear friend. Me too. I'll see you then,
Promised Dahlia. Pete carefully secured the fragile cake in its decorative box on a flimsy rack on the back of his scooter. Then he and Fanny piled on and zoomed off. Folks and passers-by turned heads as they witnessed a frozen pop and a living doll zooming by on a scooter. But Pete and Fanny were used to turning heads. As different as the two were, they shared similarities in that they were each incredibly unique, both with hearts of gold. Pete and Fanny had become fast friends since the get-go. As the two zoomed along, they talked about Pete going to visit Fanny in D.C. and meeting the other dolls and her best friend, Attorney Malka. But as they turned a corner, the scooter suddenly lost control as a cat dashed by, narrowly escaping the wheels of the scooter.
Oh my goodness.
They slid as Pete struggled to gain control of the scooter, and Fanny screamed, fearing they would crash. Sure enough, the scooter slid on its side to an abrupt clunk against a phone pole.
Oh no.
Thank goodness neither were hurt, as they regained their balance quickly, only to witness that the gorgeous Valentine's cake had been propelled from its box, flying through the air and landing in the street.
Splat.
Within seconds, a car zipped by and drove right over the cake, leaving only a smashed circle of a purple memory that was Pete's beloved Valentine's Day cake. His eyes swelled with tears as a heavy melt rapidly set in. But the loss was too great for Pete to bear, as he risked a serious meltdown. Fanny knew all too well what to do. Pete, quick! Turn up the power on your cold suit so you don't melt, she instructed as Pete sobbed uncontrollably and fumbled with the switch.
The cake I ordered 2 weeks ago for the Valentine's Day party is gone!
As Pete cried more and more, Fanny herself had to turn up the notch on Pete's cold suit just to keep him alive during this crisis of a moment. It's okay, Pete. We'll go back to the bakery and get another one.
That's impossible, Fanny. You'll never be ready on time. It's custom made. And they're way too busy to make a new one.
But Pete, we have to try. Fanny guided the sobbing Pete onto the back of his scooter as she herself picked up the machine from the ground and took control, steering the two back to Fluff Muff.
My party is over. I'm finished.
Don't worry, Pete. There's got to be something we can do. We're going to solve this problem, Fanny promised with undying optimism.
Yes.
As the two friends entered the bakery, Dahlia and all the Fluff Muff pastry chefs noticed the scene of Pete's uncontrollable sobbing. Dahlia raced up to Pete and put her arms around him.
There, Petey. Now you tell me what happened. Are you okay? I crashed, and the cake is destroyed.
Pete explained as his sobbing continued and grapey drips fell from his forehead.
Uh-oh.
Overhearing the conversation, the two pastry chefs looked at each other again and grinned. Just what were these two up to? Seconds later, the two chefs approached Pete carrying a large decorative box that looked just like the first one.
What's that?
Pete asked unknowingly.
Well, we noticed that you drive a scooter with a flimsy rack on the back. We were kind of worried that it might not be fit to carry such a heavy, delicate cake. And you know what? We were right. And because we love you so much, Pete, we baked a backup cake just in case something like this happened.
Yeah, a backup cake. That's right. Jaws dropped all around as the room grew heavy with silence.
You did that just for me?
Pete almost whispered, completely humbled by the situation.
At first we felt silly, but now we're glad that we followed our hunch. What's more, we're gonna deliver the cake directly to your home, Pete. That way you won't have to worry about this happening again.
Yeah, it won't happen again, that's right.
Pete was so touched by the kindness of the chefs that he grabbed them both in a big bear hug.
You guys are wonderful! How can I ever thank you? I know! Why don't you guys come to the party tomorrow? That way I can tell everyone what amazing pastry chefs you are.
Oh, Pete, we'd love to come.
Yeah, we'd love to come, that's right.
Fanny, you were right. Thank you so much for your faith and support as my friend. This is turning out to be an incredible Valentine's Day after all.
Back at the apartment, Pete prepared a steaming pot of much-deserved green tea as the two friends sipped the comforting liquid and nibbled on cookies. Then, Fanny declared shyly, "Pete, I have a little Valentine gift for you."
Really? I love surprises.
With that, Fanny placed a small box with a tiny red bow right next to Pete's teacup.
What is it, Fanny? What is it? Oh, it's not much. Just a tiny box of candy hearts, to symbolize our friendship.
Pete was so touched by Fanny's kind gesture. His big heart began to swell, and he felt so special.
Aw, thanks, Fanny. I know. Let's share them with our tea.
Pete carefully opened the box of candy hearts and separated them, One for Fanny, one for him. The two friends sipped their tea, each reading a heart before nibbling as the lovely afternoon drifted by while the two chatted and birds chirped all around the terrace.
Come on, Fanny, let's decorate!
Pete claimed enthusiastically. Valentine promises. The next morning, Pete tidied the apartment and put the finishing touches on all the details. He placed the magnificent purple heart cake as the centerpiece on the long table. His small dog, Joselita, scurried about, always at his heels. But it was getting late, and soon the guests would arrive. Pete then changed into his very special Valentine's Day cold suit that he had created just for the party. It was brilliant red and popped with bright pink hearts. P.S. You can see it on the Daisy French blog.
All right.
Suddenly, evening fell and the doorbell ding-donged, causing Joselita to bark up a storm. As Pete opened the door, a group of friends greeted him with warm hugs.
Happy Valentine's Day, Pete!
Hi, everyone! Happy Valentine's Day! Come on in!
And the festivities began. Fanny made her way to Pete's stereo and put on a vibin' playlist. The friends helped themselves to cups of sparkling strawberry cider and plenty of heart-shaped cookies, pastries, and fresh fruits. It wasn't long before the group began dancing to the music as voices and laughter filled the air. After an hour or so, Pete said to Fanny,
Fanny, I think it's time to start the card decorating contest. What do you think? You're right, Pete. Friends, everyone gather round.
as Fanny directed the friends to a round table in the living room, topped with tons of sparkling decorations and lots of construction paper.
Each one of you can select a name tag out of this hat and design your Valentine card for that friend.
As she offered the hat to the group, the friends cheered. Such a creative idea. After an hour, all the friends had completed their Valentine cards. That is the moment when Pete began the Valentine's Day presentation ceremony.
Friends, I want to thank all of you for being here together on this very special day. You're all like family to me, especially since my family is back home at the South Pole, and I miss them so much. And Valentine's Day is the perfect time to express how much we all mean to each other as friends. Fanny, let's start with you. Can you present your beautiful card? Sure, Pete. Dahlia, this card is for you. But first, I want to thank you for introducing me to such a special friend. Pete and I have been close since day one. What would we do without our Dahlia?
Everyone grew quiet as Dahlia began to read her card.
My dearest Dahlia, I want to say, in the friendliest of ways, from me to you, we'll always be friends, just we two. Happy Valentine's Day.
As everyone presented their cards to each other, it was clear that this Valentine's Day celebration would be one to remember. Admittedly, there were some tears of joy and plenty of hugs and smiles as the bonds of friendship became even tighter. Then, the moment arrived when Carmine Caramel presented his card to Pete. And it was time to say goodbye. Pete handed out a balloon to each friend as they left, all among hugs and smiles. As Fanny approached, she handed a small red envelope to Pete. He looked confused.
Pete, thank you so much for throwing such an awesome party with wonderful friends. Inside this envelope is just a little token of our friendship. Can you wait until everyone is gone to open it?
Oh, sure, Fanny, I promise. You know how much I love surprises.
Pete and Fanny hugged goodbye as Joselita yelped her last bark of the evening. As Pete tucked himself into his ice bed, all ready for dreamland, he opened Fanny's envelope and could not believe his eyes. For inside was a round-trip plane ticket to Washington, D.C. Pete was going to the Capitol to visit Fanny and friends. This really was the best Valentine's Day ever. The end. Well, everyone, wouldn't you agree that Fanny is a really special friend? Can you believe the generous gift she gave to Pete? So, you'd better subscribe to receive notification of this next exciting story when Pete gets to meet Attorney Malka and the entire doll cast in Washington, D.C. In the meantime, check out our character illustrations at daisyfrench.com. See you there, Valentine!